Hey guys, it's Heather here with Hump Days with Heather on Talking Podcast. Hope you're all having an amazing day or week or whatever it may be for you, or night, whatever, whatever. So today I want to talk about manufacturers. I know I normally deal with the business and remodel side, but I had a couple of people actually reach out to me this past week and ask that I do a podcast on this because he was having some issues, and I know some of the other podcast people and all of the, I guess, other groups are having issues with certain things going on with manufacturers. Okay, so I'm sorry. I had to put that on silent. Anyways, so in particularly, I had one individual that is from Texas and San Antonio, to be exact, and Austin. I had two, actually, one from San Antonio and one from Austin. So if you're the reps out there for San Antonio and Austin, this is a props for you. I'm not going to mention which rep he was talking about, but I'll kind of run down our conversation with you. He stated that a lot of people are getting bad vibes from manufacturers and their reps, the local reps in particularly, not necessarily the manufacturers themselves, just the local rep. So he wanted me to kind of do a podcast on the awesome vibes that he got. So this individual had wired something incorrectly on the controller, and it blew the salt cell, it blew the VS pump, and it blew the board. I'm sure multiple people have done that, not just this one individual. I can say I've never done that because I don't mess with electrical, so that doesn't happen to me. Because I'm horrible at electrical. Everybody knows this, right? So bad. Anyways, so this in particular individual contacted his local rep and said, hey, I up. I wired this way, and in turn, it blew the salt cell, the VS pump, and the board. That rep, having that good relationship, was like, oh shit, let me help you out by giving you a new VS pump, a new salt cell. You just have to replace the board because you technically screwed that up, even though he did everything else. But that rep took responsibility for his product, for that individual company, even though it was their fault, and stood behind them and warrantied, well, I guess you would call it warranty, even though it wasn't warranted, but handled that for that company so they weren't out thousands of dollars out of their pocket for the one mistake that they did. I bet you they will never do that again. Hopefully, lesson learned on that aspect of it. But that goes to show you that relationships are very big in our industry and manufacturing. You want to hang out with them. You want to get to know them on a personal level because they can make your life really hard or they can make it really easy. Or vice versa, or maybe you just don't get along with them. Maybe you can find another rep. You don't have to have a rep here local. While it's better, if you get along better with a rep that's out of state, then deal with that rep instead, right? They just may have to call the local rep to get stuff done. But that way, it is addressed how you need to be addressed. But that individual rep, I know who you are, and I love that rep as well. And you stand behind your clients, us, the contractors, and I appreciate that. And I know for sure that that individual appreciated that as well. So with that being said, my next call is more of a similar situation, and the rep did nothing. So the rep got a phone call because I guess the new technician that they trained just out of training blew the VS pump up because they wired it high and low was wrong, or I forgot exactly what they did, whether it was high and long or they did the hot. And I don't remember what he did. But anyways, he blew the VS pump up. I was trying to think. I don't remember what he told me. Well, the rep basically told him to go F off. Don't call him when it's stupid shit like that. That's not what they're there for. They're there for help for other issues on their product that happens to be screwed up upon getting it, or if we're having issues with something else. So that rep was a total douchebag to this company. The guy called me and was like, hey, Heather, I've got this pump. It's this brand. My rep was a total asshole to me. He won't help me. I don't know what happened, blah, blah, blah. Well, since I don't do the electrical, right, I handed the phone to my husband. And this rep is actually here in the DFW area. And so hubby's like, okay, at the time we didn't know what happened, as to what exactly caused the problem. So hubby goes out to this particular place, and it was about an hour and a half drive. It was like Fort Worth area, a little past Fort Worth, like White Settlement, maybe. I don't remember exactly. It's been a little bit. It's been like a few months, actually. But anyways, so Chris goes out there and he's like, yeah, this is wired wrong because of X, Y, and Z. You blew the pump. You blew the drive and the motor. Like it's gone. You fried it. And so that's when the company called the manufacturer because he thought he had a good rapport with that manufacturer. And the manufacturer did nothing. He basically told him to don't call him, don't do blah, blah, blah. And my husband is sitting there listening to all of this. And we have a good relationship with that manufacturer. I think I have a good relationship with all of my local manufacturers, to be honest. Like I don't have any issues with any of the manufacturers. So I'm very thankful for that. I can be a hard ass and all my reps know that, but I was appalled by the conversation from what my husband told me. So I ended up calling my rep because we had two different reps, but it was the same manufacturer, right? And I was like, hey, so this is what happened. And the way that this was addressed for this individual company was horrible. I mean, had the customer been standing there and that manufacturer rep, because they were on speakerphone, a lot of us put them on speakerphone and a lot of reps don't know, but I do it. That would have been a whole nother story, right? That'd have been so bad. And so my husband was able to get it smooth over and we handled it for them. But just the things that happen, reps, please just take your time and don't take your frustration out. Now, this company was a brand new company. He just started on his own. That messed up the pump. And the rep definitely did not want to have anything to do with that company. And you could clearly see that. And thankfully, I'm a very open person, as everybody knows, just like, everybody knows. And he's the same way. I love him to death. Very open and honest, and he will help everybody if you ask. Hell, I've had people come in and ask for help for other stuff for the pool industry, whether it's office stuff. I'll log into their computer and help them with that, whatever it may be, in the field, cleaning, training their guys, whatever. Reps do the same thing, right? They train other reps. So my next story, little kind of half in between, little subtle story. So this one's my own personal story. My local rep here he was no longer my rep for the longest, but then he got back my rep. Because they moved away. I forgot what happened. But anyways, this individual customer lost her husband who served in the military, but lost her husband here, not in the military, while he was home on leave because he was at the wrong place at the wrong time. He went to a CVS or Walgreens, I forgot which one it was, and there was a robbery happening as he was there. And the robber was pointing guns at children, not his children, but somebody else's children. He had no idea who they were. So this Marine came in and stepped in and basically took the gunman down. And as the gunman got down, he shot this Marine and it killed him. But in turn, it saved the children that he had the gun, pointed to. And once the wife told me this story, and this wife owned her own fitness club. She was a personal trainer. She lives in Hearst. She had to close down her personal training because of the loss of her husband. She couldn't afford it anymore. And she has an autoimmune child that can't get sick, that basically has to live in a bubble because their immunity is not there. And even the common cold could kill this child. So hospital bills, of course, they lost their great benefits when, the military, I don't know how that works, but she said the benefits changed. I don't know anything about that because I'm not ex-military, but her pool, when we got to her pool, we were there under a home warranty claim. And once I heard this story, my dad actually was the guy that went out to this, and my dad called me and was like, hey, Heather, this pool is really bad. This is not going to be covered. This is X, Y, and Z, blah, 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 because it's lack of maintenance. Warranty doesn't cover that. The pool is solid green. It's actually black. Grids are clogged, pumps clogged, so on and so forth. Well, so I call this homeowner. I'm like, hi, Mrs. So-and-so. Unfortunately, your warranty is not going to cover this because of lack of maintenance because of X, Y, and Z. Do you know, are you taking care of your pool? Kind of give me the background, let me help you out what happened so this doesn't happen again. She just breaks down and starts to cry. And she's like, Heather, I really need them to cover it. I don't have the money. This is the only thing that my children have to do. And I had to let it go because of what happened. Then she tells me the story about her husband. And then she tells me about her autoimmune child. And I have soft heart for everybody, like when it comes to that stuff. So what do? I immediately call my rep and I'm like, hey, this is what's going on. This is what's happening. I want to give this entire equipment pad a 100% haul, and I'll cover whatever you need me to cover. If you can just do a try me price or whatever you want to do, I don't care. If I have to buy it wholesale, I will. I just want to get this customer done right. So my rep gave me a VS pump, they gave me a filter, and they gave me a salt cell, all at they didn't give it to me for free, but they gave me a really good discount on it to help this individual family get back up and going. So I cut everything off the pad from ground up. I gave her a new automation. I gave her all the stuff that this particular manufacturer gave us. I drained her pool. We did an acid wash on it because it was bad. Luckily, the plaster was fine. It was pebble. So we got her pool up and going. And then, of course, y'all all know me, I coupon. So I had 50 gazillion floats that now I don't own anymore, thanks to Robert. Thank you, Robert. Or not him, but we gave all these kids all the floats. She had 3 kids. We gave them so many floats. We got their pool up and going, and we did all this while she was out of town. Mind you, she had no idea any of this was going on because she had to leave town to deal with, the funeral and deal with all of that stuff because this just happened. And so I know pools don't turn green, but she'd been letting it go because he'd been out of town and vice versa. But anyways, so when she came home, she had no idea this was all done. I maintained the pool for her until I knew that she was for sure home. And then we handed her to a company that still services that pool today. And we've paid for that. Now, I stopped paying for the weekly service, but I gave her a year of weekly service that I paid for as well. And it's just those heartfelt moments that make our job worthwhile to do what we do. And the reps and the manufacturers that help us do those things for our customers, because manufacturer reps have hearts as well, right? They love to do things like that for customers. Not only does it make them look good, it makes us look good, and it makes the customer super happy and thoughtful. So tit for tat. So those are my 3 stories, 1 bad, 2 good. Reps are amazing. Start utilizing those relationships and go forward with those relationships and start nurturing those relationships. Everybody's going through a hard time right now. Everybody's having issues with product. Everybody's done with all these clients that are bitching all the time. But remember, there is a light at the end of the path at somewhere. So until next week, I hope you've enjoyed this little tidbit story. So have a wonderful, wonderful week, guys. Thanks. Bye.